Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be doing my June TBR. We have a lot to catch up on. I have not posted in I think probably like 3 weeks now, which I'm sorry about. I said that I was going to be like consistent and post 1 video a week because like 2 is too much because I work full time, and I just like, this is a fun thing for me, and like I do still like, it is still fun. I'll have all decided like it's no longer fun, I'm not gonna do it, but I was so sick in May. I like a full week I did nothing, and then like there was also like probably like another 4 days on top of that week where like I was like doing the bare minimum to exist. But I'm filming it on the 22nd, and as of today I have finished 0 books this month. I am halfway, no, yeah, I'm halfway through 2 books and like a quarter of the way through a 3rd one. So like I will start finishing books soon. So it hasn't been good reading wise, and just like in general wise, May has not been the best, but June is going to be better. I also, this month I'm not going to play my TBR game because I started, because I said, I was like, next month I'm gonna definitely have the board, and I did actually start, like I said I would. I started on it, and so like the old board is dead. So I can't use the old board, and I don't have a new board finished. We're gonna just do this old school, we're gonna talk about some possibilities. Since I have been so like slumpy and then sick and like reading nothing, I've like made just like a list of like, so like fun vlog ideas, because you know, obviously I haven't been posting, so it'd be nice to have some videos for people I'm excited for. You know, books that like complete goals that I've set, because I haven't really been paying attention to them. So the first book on the list is Memory of Souls by Jen Lyons. I am rereading this series, so this is my 3rd time rereading them. No, 3rd time reading them, 2nd time rereading. And so this is the 3rd book in the Course of Dragons series. I love the series, it's one of my favorites. It's definitely top 5. I think it's top 3. I did a ranking, was it last year or the year before, of my top series, and this was definitely in the top 5. I think it was number 3, if I'm remembering correctly, but I could be lying, so don't trust me. The Name of All Things, the 2nd book in the series, is one of the books that I am literally exactly halfway through. I'm planning on like hopefully just like finishing it in the next couple of days, and I've been trying to read like 1 a month-ish, or every like 3-ish, 4 weeks, and I read the first half of it like really early in May, and then I got sick, haven't continued it. Obviously, at least I already know the story and everything, so like it's not as though like I'm gonna be like, oh my god, what's been happening and all of this. At least I already know the story, so I can jump right back into it and all of that. So that should hopefully be finished before the end of May, and in June I can dive into Memory of Souls. Yeah, so this series, it follows Kieran. In the first book we follow him as he is imprisoned, and this kind of like creature called Talon tells him to tell his life story. And Kieran starts the story when he was 16 and he got sold into slavery, and then Talon stops him and says, no, that's not where your story starts. And she starts the story further back when he was the son of a bard, and he did some thieving on the side, and one day he went into the wrong house, and it ends up with him getting claimed as the lost son of one of these royal houses. And eventually the 2 timelines meet up, and we find out how he has gotten into his current predicament. And it's a very complicated world. I love the characters very deeply. I love the world. It's like so well thought out. Honestly, maybe too much detail, but like I personally love that about it. It has like footnotes. This, I think, is my favorite book in the series. No, there's no thinking. This is my favorite book in the series. So I'm really excited to reread this. So hopefully that will like, you know, make me all excited for reading again. Then I have on my list, I have Quartet, which is a non-fiction book about 4 women who have changed the history of music, basically. Have a goal of reading 12 non-fictions this year, so 1 a month, but like obviously if I don't read one month and read 5 1 month or whatever, it doesn't matter what way I do it, I just want to read 12. Obviously, last month I have not read any non-fictions. May, again, complete failure. Technically, I would like to read like 2, but I haven't really decided what I want to read. I have a couple of like ones saved on my library that like I'm kind of intrigued about, but none are definite. But this one, like, you know, the synopsis intrigues me. I love history, especially when we focus it on women who have been like forgotten by time and stuff like that. So I love those kind of stories. So this sounds really interesting to me. I'm hoping to at least start some of these before the end of the month, because I have been saying that I'm going to do this vlog for, I would say, like since January and I haven't done it yet, and that is reading the oldest books on my TBR. Last year and the year before, I had like a little series where I was reading my previous book hauls. First year I did it, I think I did it by month, so I do my book hauls quarterly, so I took my January, February and March book hauls from all of the previous years and I read books in that. And then last year when I did it again, I did it based on year, so I revisited my like 2020 and I revisited my 2021 and all that. And I want to kind of do that again. I have 2 books that are on my TBR that are from 2021. And I have been saying for months that I'm going to read them and I have yet to read them. And so one of those is Jade War by Fonda Lee. I read Jade City last year. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It wasn't like an all-time favorite, but I can definitely see this series being an all-time favorite. So this family, and they are one of the main families on this island, and they can like use jade, and jade makes you like stronger and faster, and there is this new drug that means that like anyone can use jade, and the 2 kind of main families on this island are like kind of in a bit of like a territory war over all of this kind of stuff, and we kind of follow one particular family and all of their very messy dynamics. The book that I got in 2021 that needs to be read is Assassin's Fate. We're not going to talk about this because I always say I'm going to read it and then I never read it. Assassin's Fate is the final book in the realm of the Elderlings. The very first book is Assassin's Apprentice, and it follows Fitz, and he is left at the keep and by his maternal grandfather because he doesn't want to have to take care of him and feed him and all of this anymore. And so Fitz is taken to Buckkeep, and when he arrives at Buckkeep, his father has fled, and he has fled his position as the prince in waiting, and that leaves Fitz to be raised by Burke, the stable master, and eventually the king kind of sets his sight on Fitz and decides to train him up as the royal assassin, and then from there terrible things happen. And this is the final book. Like, I know what's going to happen, but also I don't know what's going to happen. And I just know that I'm going to be hurt and probably never read a book again. So do I want to read this book? I don't usually do just 2 books in a vlog. I usually like to do 3. I feel like 3 is a nice number of books. And so because I don't have any more books from 2021, I would probably take 1 from 2022, which I only have 2 from 2022. One of those is Jade Legacy, and so I wouldn't want to read 2 books from the same series in the same vlog, so I would probably not read that one. But the other one is The Lies of Lochlamora by Scott Lynch, which I still have the tags on, despite the fact that I got it in 2022. So yeah. And I actually feel like I've seen like a couple of people reading this recently. And so I'm like, maybe now is the time. And also it is on Kindle Unlimited as well. So like if I want like to read it as an ebook, I can. But also I don't really like, this is gonna be so weird. I don't like the font on Kindle Unlimited. I try to change them, but none of them I like. I don't like any of them. Or I don't know what it is, or if it's the formatting or something, like the spaces. I don't like it. I don't like reading on Kindle Unlimited, really. I only do it if I have to. So I probably won't. I will probably just read this physically. That I think Lochlamora, he is part of a group of thieves, and they steal from the rich and keep it for themselves. And somehow they kind of get dragged into politics and stuff like that, and they do not want to be here, but they have been dragged into it and are basically have to fight to stay alive. Okay, so also on my list, this I feel like is the one that is likely to be read out of all of these, is The Heir of Novron by Michael J. Sullivan. That is the 3rd and final book in the Rhaeria Revelations. So the first one is Theft of Swords, then we have Rise of Empire. I read these last year and I was like pleasantly surprised because they read as very I don't know, like this is gonna sound really mean, but I'm saying this as somebody who gave both of these books 4 stars, like basic man fantasy. But like there was something about them that I ate them up. I really did. I was just really absorbed by the story. And I read both of these like pretty quickly after each other, and now it's been like a good few months since I've read them, and like I feel like my interest in the 3rd book, the longer I'm leaving it, the less I have. And so I kind of want to read it soon, so I'm not like after forgetting everything and all of that. But like also these are very big books, so like it's probably not gonna be, it might be a July thing, but if it is, I think it'll be like #1 priority of July. So like this is another little like vlog idea I have. Obviously, June is Pride Month. I have done reading some LGBTQ plus fantasy on my TBR before, and I would like to do that again if I have the chance, if I have the time. As I said, I'm getting more and more ambitious with this, considering I read 0 books in May so far. Am I being too ambitious? Probably, but we're gonna say it, and hopefully we'll be able to make it happen. The only book that I have like on my physical TBR that like if I do get the chance to do this, that is definitely being read, is Court of Wanderers by Rinch Pecco. This is the sequel and the second book and the final book in the Silver and Nightfall duology. The first book, it follows Remy, and he is a vampire hunter, and there are these like new vampire creatures that are like nearly kind of zombie-like that have started appearing, and they are very strange, and he ends up teaming up with a vampire couple who are like engaged to be married. The three of them start to develop a very strong bond and maybe something more. And I really, really loved the first book when I read it. I haven't heard as good things about this one, but I feel like I've started hearing more positive things. So maybe like now that I've left it a good while, and maybe like it seems like a load of other people did too, I feel like I've been seeing more positive things. So I'm hopeful. I do need to read this. This was like one of my most anticipated releases of last year, but I never got the chance to do it. These are the beautiful Illumicrate editions. As I said, I don't have any like that I'm like, okay, I definitely want to read this. That's the only one. I think maybe Voyage of the Damned. I feel like I've heard something about there being at least one bisexual character in here. Also, like on my like, not on my physical, I'm trying to clear my physical TBR, but like on this TBR up here, like I know I really should finish the Black Sun series by Rebecca Roanhorse, Mirrored Heavens. That would fit for this if I wanted to. What else? What's that, like magic, Small Magics? Something in Small Magics. It's like a cozy fantasy. I think 2 wizards, and like one of them accidentally curses the other, and the 2 of them have to like work together to figure it out. I've also heard like good things about, is it like A Strange and Stubborn Endurance by like, is it Foz Meadows? Where I think like that's like an arranged marriage trope. So like we have options, but if you have any that you feel very strongly about, let me know. Hopefully we'll be able to make the time to do it. We're just near the end. So obviously I have 2 more books that I would like to talk about. I'll leave the most exciting one for last. So anticipated releases. I haven't been doing a great job keeping on top of them this year. Sequel to How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying is coming out the end of May. I think that's Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Again, will I read that? We don't know. Coming out in June, Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. Scribd usually like puts those up fairly quick after they come out, so I might get to that. All 3 of her like adult romances, I've given 4 stars. They're like solid, like good times. So I'm hoping that trend continues with this one. This one, I think it follows like a musician, 2 musicians. And that's all I need to know. I just know that it's Ashley Poston and I will read it. And then obviously there's one book to rule them all. One book coming out on the 10th. That is probably my most anticipated release of the year, because I mean, look how many copies of her books I have. And that is, of course, Very Art Bones and Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. V.E. Schwab is my favorite author. A Darker Shade of Magic is my favorite series of all time. I give most of them 5 stars. I give the rest of them 4 stars. I've given like 1 or 2 3 stars. And I think those were like the middle grade ones. So like, they don't count. So like, I'm so sure that this is going to be a book that I at the very least like, but hopefully love. I've heard pretty good things overall. I've heard a couple of people being like, yeah, it's a bit boring. Sometimes we need boring books. Sometimes we need boring books. So I'm like trying to keep my expectations low, but also it's very hard to keep them low because I am excited about this book. I have already ordered the Owlcrate version, and I am hoping to order the Illumicrate version. I think that is for sale on the 29th. And I know Fairy Loot are doing it as their adult book, which I don't get Fairy Loot, so that's a bit rude. So like if I want that version, I'm gonna have to pay stupid money for someone to sell it to me secondhand, which is rude. I don't know what this book is about. I just know that it's toxic about lesbian vampires. That is the name that she was using for it for years. And it is, I think, like an exploration. It's like Ali LaRue, but like it's twisted. Like very much like kind of like similar themes of like time and all of that. And like being remembered through time and like how that like affects you. But instead of like we're exploring it through like vampires and like, as I said, toxic lesbians. So exciting. Is this being very ambitious considering I've read no books this month? Yes. Do I care? Not really. That is the list of books that I would like to read. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.